Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, you've got bones behind you.
I have phone. I want to look like I know what I'm doing. I've also got wires in the way. That's not good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining me. It's such a pleasure to have you on what I have decided finally on a name to call Instructor Insights.
Sounds great.
Good choice. Awesome. All right.
Hopefully we'll have some real insights.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. So first of all, thank you for agreeing to be part of this. I really do value your instructor insights, and I know what some of them might be. But just for those that don't know, Chloe, do you mind briefly introducing yourself and giving us a brief introduction into how you got into the fitness industry?
I've lost you. I've lost you for a second. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I'll just answer the question again. So for those of you that don't know you or what you do you mind giving us a brief introduction into who you are and how you got into the fitness industry?
Yes. So my name is Chloe. I am 35 years old. I'm half Italian, half French. I've been living most of my life in Italy. And I've always been a very active kid. When I was 14, my parents are doctors, so they were worried about my posture, and they started looking for option, and they ended up finding this new method coming straight from the US called Pilates, and my mom sent me to what probably at the time in 1999 was the first Pilates studio in Italy for sure, and possibly one of the very first in Europe. So that's how I started. I was super young and I just loved it. I started going once a week and then twice a week, and then my body started literally looking for more and asking for more Pilates, and that's how it became like my lifelong passion. I'm also, I graduated at university as an engineer, as a food technologist. So that's my background. But my early passion kept coming back in my thoughts, in my dreams. And I was like, you know what? I really feel like my place in the world is being a Pilates instructor. And that's how I went into shifting my career from the big multinational companies into becoming a Pilates teacher. I trained classically at the beginning with what was initially classical from Romana with Anna Maria Cova in Italy, who's like very, very well known. She's an osteopath and a physical therapist and an ex-dancer, and she's been my mentor forever. And then I also trained subsequently with Catherine Kimberly Korb at the Pilates Academy International. They are the owners and founders of the Pilates on Fifth, and they come from the Stott School. So I was lucky enough to train with them and get a little bit of that vibe as well. Then I trained with Balance Body, and then I did a training with Fletcher as well. And then I trained with Blandine Calais-Germain, and I've just put together throughout the years. Now it's been almost 22 years for me, like playing with Pilates and being passionate about it. I've just really combined a lot of like different schools and expertises, and so today I live in Dubai. I've moved to Dubai 6 years ago to open the Pilates Academy of Dubai, and today I am still here with surrounded by a wonderful team of instructors. And I lead the Pilates Academy, offering teacher trainings and being a master trainer, both. I don't know if you want to call it master. I don't want to offend anybody. That's like, I run instructor training courses for both the Pilates Academy International of New York and Balance Body for motor, Coraline. And I also teach, of course, I teach anatomy and biomechanics. I teach cardio Pilates. I teach suspension method. And I'm saying this just to show that for me, Pilates is not just the Pilates repertoire, but it's a way of moving that can apply to anything, any situation in our life.
Yeah. Thank you. That's amazing. It's such an amazing journey, and one that you're clearly very passionate about. And I guess my next question leads on to my next question, that how much do you think passion matters in being a successful instructor?
100%. The rest, honestly, there's two things. I think there's two things that matter really to be a Pilates instructor or an instructor in general. The first one is passion. And the second one is personality. You need to you need to lead your life from a place of love, and you need to enjoy people's company, and have an extrovert personality. Doesn't mean you need to be like super bubbly all the time, but it means you need to have a passion for people where you enjoy spending time with others. And having a true exchange with others. So that's the number one. I know there's many people who do not necessarily require so much social interaction. Those people would probably feel overwhelmed by being a Pilates instructor. So I would say your personality, the way you interact with people is one, and the passion and the commitment is the other. Knowledge can come as something that can be built. Personality and passion, not really. Those you need to be lucky enough to actually, just fit with the role.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with that. I think it's something, you're going to be doing it for God knows how many hours a day for the rest of your life. So you have to enjoy it and be passionate about it. You mentioned in your answer something about education and knowledge will come. And I know you're big into education within the fitness industry. Can you tell me a bit more about, I guess, why you think that's important and why you're so into that?
For me, one of the things that matters the most when it comes to my studios, it's the Pilates studio is not a place where we have people move. It's a place where we educate people to have a new relationship with their bodies. We educate people to healthy movements, and we educate people to become independent users of their body. Just for you to understand how much education has a value for me. So education is not just how much we learn and how many courses we take, but it's really a way of life and a way of thinking, a way of being an instructor. Because many instructors start from a place of, I know better what you need. I'm gonna tell you what you have to do. And for me, it's like, how do you feel about this movement? How is your body reacting to it? You know what? You know why we're doing this movement? Can you feel it actually serve the purpose that we are following or not? And I believe people are, first of all, curious, even if they sometimes forget that they actually are. And people love to learn. Like, we are curious beings. We love to learn, despite the fact that sometimes we're lazy, sometimes we're tired. It doesn't really matter. We really love to learn. And so for me, education is the fuel of life in general. It doesn't necessarily need to be, I'm following a course. And so first of all, we educate our clients to become more independent and to love their body because they know it more. Second, I educate my instructors by having an open space studio. I think that's really, really important for a studio environment, to have the opportunity to check and observe what everybody is doing, because you get so much information from the way your fellow instructors are interacting with their clients, the modifications to the exercises that they're doing. So that's really important to me. Another thing where I feel education is really important is having instructors teaching in the same studio with very different backgrounds. Somebody's more from dance, somebody's more from fitness, somebody has an education from one Pilates school, somebody else got educated in another school. I really think that diversity is a very winning concept in a studio. Also because it allows you to target different kind of clients. Last but not least, education in terms of being a professional that keeps being updated. As any other job, Pilates can become pretty repetitive. We have a certain amount of movements, and the body at the end of the day is always a body. So we can only do as much with one arm, and as much with one spine, and as much with one shoulder, and with one leg. So instructors might at a certain point feel like they're losing the stamina into teaching, and education is what keeps you really grounded and passionate to what you're doing, because you keep rediscovering information, you keep rediscovering the human body, you keep rediscovering yourself. And I know I used to teach, I now teach very differently from when I started, and sometimes in between one course and another, I even feel like, oh, I didn't read a new book. Am I fresh enough? Am I enthusiastic enough? You know, so education like literally fuels your passion and your motivation and your everything, really. I'm a big nerd. I would study from morning to evening. So, I mean, I feel like this question is really fitting me.
Yeah, I agree. I would be on a course every week if I could take the time off work and afford to do it. I love learning. And like you say, it keeps you fresh and keeps you almost accountable to your clients or accountable to your fellow instructors, no matter what part of the fitness industry you're in. So it really is, yeah, that's one of my biggest tips to instructors or mentorees that I speak to, is keep updating your knowledge all the time.
And you know, it's almost like, I want to give an example, which is kind of funny, but imagine saying, okay, so pull your belly button in and imagine you're tightening a corset around your waist. And you've repeated that for so many times that it has lost meaning for you and for your clients. And then one day you go to a training and all of a sudden somebody's like, imagine you're pulling your belly button in as if you were like lifting your belly button behind your stomach and your heart. And you're like, huh, that's a new perspective. Wait a second. And then you cue it to your clients and you can feel it happening. And then your clients are like, oh, wait a second, there's a whole new world inside my belly happening. At the end of the day, it's something as small as this. If you put it into an entire class and you just put the same amount of passion and enthusiasm into a full class where you're not like a broken record repeating all the time, that's how important it is.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it helps with client retention as well, keeping your clients interested and coming back to you, because otherwise they will just go and find the new kid on the block in the fitness industry.
For sure. And I have to say one thing, like, people generally love to have experiences from which they feel empowered, not where they feel dependent. So if a client comes to me, the first instinct of a fitness instructor is, I'm not going to give my secrets away to my client, because then they will not need me anymore. The problem is, it actually works the opposite. The more generous you are with your knowledge as an instructor, the more your client feels attracted by spending more time with you, because they're going to learn more, they're going to be more empowered by you. So it is really the other way around. Always, if you guys are listening, be super generous. Give more than what you have, and that's going to be your greatest success.
Absolutely. There's a quote that I don't even know who said it. It was actually written on a blackboard outside a chiropractic clinic that I walked past, and I loved it so much that I ended up taking a picture. And it's that the best medicine is to teach someone how not to need it. And it's so true when you're teaching anyone anything, with, you know, either in the fitness industry or out of the fitness industry, it's teaching them how, like you said, not to be dependent on you.
For sure.
It's a hard balance to find, particularly as a new instructor, going, well, I don't want them to leave me if they're not dependent on me. So I understand the as a new instructor not wanting to do that. Yeah. So to take you right back to the beginning of your career, before you were a business owner, would you have any tips for new instructors on building a client base?
Well, I might sound super naive. I got this question asked multiple times, and I know my answer sounds a little naive, but the only thing that really builds a client base is passion. Like, the more excited you are about something, truly feeling that you want to bounce up and down about how much you love something, and the more people are attracted by it. They're like, if she loves it so much and if it means so much for her, I want to know what this is. I want to like experience it. And so people, I mean, I was talking about Pilates all the time, and I was like, oh my God, you have no idea. I just did this thing and like discovered this other thing, and I feel so great and I'm so passionate. And then literally, like, people beg you to take classes with you. You know, they're like, oh my God, I really want to try. And usually I would be like, I don't have a studio. I don't know how. Oh, I don't mind. I can come to your place. I really want to see like what it is. And so when you love something truly, you share it with your people, the people around you. And when you share it with enthusiasm, people really want to try. Imagine how many times you said to your friends, like, oh my God, yesterday I went to this amazing restaurant. And then 3 weeks later, everybody's at the restaurant and everybody has been trying it because you were enthusiastic about it. So the first way to teach a client, a strong, like to attract clients, is just really spreading your love, because it is contagious. And people, when it's so rare to find it, that amount of passion and enthusiasm, that when people find it, they're like super attracted by it. And then of course you need to be a good instructor. So like, make sure you know what you're doing before starting to spread the word. But there's also this, some of my students are like, I want to make sure I'm perfect before I come to the exam. I'm like, babe, like, lose that hope. You're never going to be perfect, because nobody is. And I'm still trying to figure out so many things after 22 years of movement. So at the same time, the best way to become a great instructor is to make mistakes and to start teaching with love. If there's love and there's connection with the people that you are teaching, then all the rest is gonna be all right.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you're waiting to be perfect, you're going to be waiting a long time, because you're never going to be absolutely ready to teach your first client or to teach someone how to squat properly. Or of course you're going to make mistakes. You know, when you were a toddler, you didn't just get up and start walking. You fell over a lot. You had to make little adjustments until you finally got it right. You know, things don't happen perfect the first time round.
True, but also the feeling of teaching your first class, what I try to do with my instructors is to teach them how to swim by throwing them in the pool, you know, like literally trying not to kill them. But most of the times I take my students and I'm like, oh, I've got a client for you. It's your time now. Or, oh, you're here for doing observation hour. There's actually a client. Why don't you spend half an hour giving an extra half an hour to the client working on something? And they're like, oh my God. And then once they've done it, they love it so much. They feel so much more empowered. So allow yourself not to be too scared. Just throw yourself in the pool. Sometimes, maybe because I'm a Taurus, but I literally throw myself in situations and then I think about it. And I'm like, why did I just do that? You know, but that's a good way of starting.
Absolutely. Talking of throwing yourself in the pool or throwing yourself in at the deep end, I know that you've recently thrown yourself into online work, as we all have, and social media. How much importance do you put on the online world and the social media world in building a brand?
Okay, do I have to be politically correct? No, because
No,
I don't know.
we love a bit of non-political correctness.
That would not be me. Okay, so of course I'm a studio owner. So my brand is my studio, but my studio's soul is me, and it's not always been easy for me to associate or dissociate myself from the brand and vice versa. I have to say, to go into like the juicy part of the theme is probably 80 to 90% of my client base comes from social media.
Okay.
That's how big
quite
it is.
big.
Yes, that's how big it is. So despite the fact that I love to be very much involved in the work, meaning I love to teach my clients, I love to teach my students. I literally teach 12, 13 hours a day.
Wow.
And my priority is a lot more, in Italian we say there's the meat and there's the smoke, okay? I'm about the substance and not about the image. So for me, realizing how important the image out there was and how important it was to spend time and money into that image was something that I really had to force myself into. You know, it was like, okay, I know that what I do is amazing, but if nobody knows about it, well, I'm gonna be amazing on my own. So I had to really make a big effort into try to spend enough time teaching, giving a good service, but on the educating myself, creating international connection as with yourself, and at the same time being out there shooting videos, posting on Instagram. Like the first time I tried to post a story on Instagram, I didn't even know what a story was. Now I'm learning what IGTV is, and I learn a bunch of tricks, and then now we know how to use Zoom. And I mean, it's an opportunity. I like to look at things as opportunities, no matter what. And so I like to focus on situation, thinking of what can come out of this. What is situation teaching me, and this incredible situation that is affecting the entire world is teaching us that it is possible to do our work. Not only in person, and here I would like to say not only, which means part of what we can do can also be done online, and I'm learning to use this new mean of communication in terms of teaching classes and teaching teacher trainings. I feel we're really lucky and blessed in this era to have access to these communication tools. They almost make it real. I almost feel like I'm having a cup of tea with you in your lovely home in the UK. And so let's look at them as opportunities. I do not believe that movement can be taught only online, for sure, but I'm happy to explore anything that can come from this new tool, And I think I also hope, just to conclude, that I don't think that this tool would substitute the real life. I think people still need to interact with each other, see each other. Every day I have so many clients telling me, I can't wait for the studio to reopen. I can't wait to hug you, to see you in person, to have these personal interactions. But in the meanwhile, there's so much that can be done online, and I think we should definitely catch that opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, well said. Thank God for Zoom. Final question then, Chloe, and this is going to be my final question in this whole series. What are your measures of success?
Ooh, what are my measures of success? I think the main measure of my success is how happy I am. That's like number one for me. How happy I am at the end of the day with myself, with the message that I'm spreading to the people around me, how much I manage to share in a genuine way, to empower others, to grow from others, how much meaning what I do has. And that could come from anything. It's just not a Pilates instructor, but it's literally when I go to bed, it's like, how, there's my husband passing back.
They're all working homes. I've got banging going on too. Don't worry about it.
Is yeah, literally, how satisfied do I feel about myself and with myself? How excited I am to wake up tomorrow morning to do maybe the same thing, maybe something else. This is the greatest measure of success. The other measure of success for me is the quality of my social and professional interactions. How deeply am I able to connect with other people, with my same passions or with different passions, with my clients? How is the quality of my relationships? How is the quality of the network of people that I attract and I manage to build? That is, for me, success, because at the end of the day, what we can achieve alone is nothing compared to what we can achieve together with others. So with my staff, with my team, how strongly connected do we feel? How do we feel part of the same beautiful project? That is another measure of success, of course. And then keeping the studio open is a measure of success and making a living, but it comes as a consequence for me of these other things. And also how excited, really, how enthusiastic am I about what I'm doing. That's another measure of success. Sometimes I feel tired and I'm like, I think like I have to go back to a new course, a new education, a new moment, or a new pause to find that excitement within myself again. I think, yeah, I think this is my answer.
That's amazing. I love the fact that it was all about quality and not kind of quantity. And I think that's key. And how, of course, the studio staying open is vital, but it came after everything else as a bonus almost, which is amazing. Chloe, thank you so much for your amazing insights. I am 100% sure they've helped people around the world. I hope we can have tea and coffee together very, very soon. No disrespect to Zoom, but I would love to hug you in person. And we will talk again soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much for putting together this little interview. I'm very flattered to be part of it. Thank you for trusting me. And you're definitely part of this network of internationally amazing people connected internationally, and that I'm very proud of. And I'm very thankful for the Pilates discipline and the Pilates passion that we share for putting us in touch. So amazing. Happy Pilates Day, by the way.
Happy Pilates Day. We are this was not planned, but we happen to be recording this on World Pilates Day or International Pilates Day. I must put a relevant post up today.
Thank you so much, and I talk to you very soon.
Take care, Chloe. Thank you. Bye.